4,000 years ago, seeds of a plant now called a weed were treasured enough to be sealed in clay and transported across empires. Today, it is ripped from sidewalks, though 100 grams offers more omega-3 than any leafy green scientists have ever measured. If this superfood was vital to ancient civilizations and still thrives where corn and wheat fail, why did modern agriculture turn it into an enemy? The answer lies in the overlooked story of human survival and the silent war waged against it. In the sun-baked gardens of ancient Greece, Purslane was a familiar sight, thriving alongside crops that would later fill the pages of history. Theophrastus, writing in the 4th century BCE, described Purslane as one of the essential summer pot herbs intentionally sown and tended for its tender leaves. His cultivation instructions placed it in the company of lettuce and rocket, not as a weed, but as a valued garden vegetable. Roman authors carried this tradition forward. Pliny the Elder, in his 1st century writings, cataloged purslane as both food and medicine. He listed it among the herbs gathered for salads and praised its cooling properties. Dioscorides, the renowned physician of the era, included purslane in his compendium of useful plants, noting its widespread use from Italy to Asia Minor and North Africa. Archaeobotanical studies confirm that purslane seeds appear regularly in the plant remains of Roman settlements, suggesting that its presence was no accident. These seeds, found in gardens and household waste, point to a plant cultivated, harvested, and consumed across the Mediterranean world. Modern science has revealed another layer to this story. Purslane seeds can persist in the soil for up to 40 years, an endurance that echoes its long association with human agriculture. For millennia, farmers recognized purslane's resilience and abundance, weaving it into the rhythms of daily life. Long before it was labeled a weed, purslane was a staple, valued for its hardiness, its taste, and its place at the center of the Mediterranean table. Charred purslane seeds turn up in the soil layers of Kentucky archaeological sites, dated to around 800 BC, buried among the remains of early gardens and settlements. In these ancient fields, long before European ships crossed the Atlantic, purslane was already thriving in the disturbed earth, a companion to the earliest crops grown in the region. Archaeobotanists have also found purslane seeds in storage pits and hearths of late woodland villages in Ontario, with radiocarbon dates centering around 1350 AD. These northern sites, home to maize, beans, and squash, show purslane integrated into the daily life of indigenous farmers. Its seeds appear again and again in the debris of village agriculture, not as a domesticated staple, but as a hardy field green and seed weed harvested when abundant, tolerated in the margins, woven into the patchwork of edible plants. By 1672, colonial records from Massachusetts describe purslane growing in great abundance in Indian cornfields and around homesteads. Settlers boiled its leaves as a potherb, recognizing a familiar taste from Europe, yet noting its established presence in native fields. This was not a plant newly arrived with the colonists, it was already rooted in the agricultural landscapes of North America. Some botanists still debate whether purslane is truly native or an early pre-Columbian arrival, but the archaeological evidence is clear. Purslane was part of indigenous foodways centuries before European contact, thriving wherever people hoed the soil and tended their gardens. A single cup of fresh purslane delivers between 300 and 400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fat. This is not a minor detail. Compared to spinach, purslane packs 5 to 7 times more omega-3 per serving. Measured against iceberg lettuce, the difference is even starker, 15 times more. These numbers are not the result of laboratory fortification or genetic engineering. They are the product of a plant that flourishes in sidewalk cracks and garden beds alike, drawing its nutrients from the most unremarkable soils. Purslane's leaves are dense with vitamin E, outpacing spinach by a factor of 6. All this comes with just 16 calories per 100 grams, making it one of the most nutrient-rich, low-calorie greens available. While most leafy vegetables offer trace amounts of these essential fats, purslane stands apart, quietly providing a biochemical advantage that industrial crops have never matched. The plant's nutritional profile is not just impressive, it is nearly unmatched in the vegetable world. In 1960, Ansel Keys launched the 7 Countries Study. It tracked 12,763 men across Europe, the United States, and Japan for decades. Among all the groups, the men of Crete stood out. Their daily calories came from diets rich in olive oil and wild greens, often with over 35% of energy from fat. Yet, against expectations, this cohort recorded the lowest rates of cardiovascular death in the entire study, far below populations with lower fat intake. The numbers confounded researchers. How could high-fat diets produce such different outcomes? Years later, blood samples from the original study were thawed and re-examined. Biochemists found that Cretan participants had 3 times the omega-3 fatty acid levels of their Northern European counterparts, despite eating far less fish. The finding pointed to something else in their food. Nutrition scientist Artemis Simopoulos, in a landmark 1992 analysis, identified Purslane as the richest plant source of alpha-linolenic acid ever measured, 300 to 400 milligrams per 100 grams, outpacing all other leafy greens. In Crete, Purslane was not a weed but a regular part of meals, quietly shaping the region's health profile through a diet most scientists had overlooked. In 2022, plant biologists at Yale University published a discovery that stunned the world of crop science. Purslane, long dismissed as a weed, was found to possess a photosynthetic system unlike any other known plant. Under normal conditions, Purslane operates like corn, using C4 photosynthesis to grow quickly and efficiently in the heat. But when drought strikes, it does not shut down. Instead, it activates a second system, CAM photosynthesis, within the same leaf cells. At night, Purslane captures carbon dioxide and stores it as malate, then releases it during the day to keep photosynthesis running even when its stomata are nearly closed. This dual strategy allows Purslane to grow fast when water is plentiful and to survive when water is scarce. Laboratory models and greenhouse trials confirm the result. Under drought, Purslane can complete its life cycle on about 1/5 of the water required by corn. No other crop or wild plant has been shown to integrate these 2 photosynthetic pathways in the same tissue. For researchers, Purslane is now a blueprint for engineering drought survival into future food crops, a living example of resilience hiding in plain sight. Farmers know Purslane as a weed that simply refuses to disappear. Each plant scatters up to 200,000 seeds, tiny and tough, into the soil. These seeds do not vanish with a single season. They can wait 40 years before sprouting, outlasting crop rotations and weather extremes. Even when fields are cleared or tilled, every piece of broken stem left behind can root itself and start a new plant. Standard methods like solarization, covering soil with plastic to bake out weeds, often fail against Purslane's persistence. The plant's biology seems designed for survival. A single flush of rain can awaken a buried seed bank that has been dormant for decades. For growers, this relentless cycle turns Purslane from a forgotten food into a constant, costly battle, fueling frustration in fields where eradication feels impossible. Herbicides are big business. In 2024, the global market for chemical weed killers topped $40 billion. With major companies selling products designed to wipe out broadleaf plants like Purslane. One of the most widely used herbicides is called 2,4-D. It was first developed during World War II and released to farmers in 1947. Its success depended on crops that could be protected and weeds that could be killed. But Purslane resists this model. It cannot be patented, hybridized, or locked behind seed contracts. Its seed bank is nearly impossible to exhaust, and every fragment of stem can start a new plant. From an industry perspective, a plant that grows for free and cannot be controlled is a threat, not an asset. The economic system rewards products that must be bought again each season, while Purslane thrives on neglect. Meanwhile, as droughts intensify, the numbers tell a different story. Corn and wheat need 20 to 30 inches of rain a year. Soybeans shut down in heat above 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Purslane completes its life cycle on just 6 inches of rain. In India, Greece, Mexico, Turkey, Iran, and China, it remains a staple on the table, not a problem in the field. The logic of profit and the logic of survival are pulling in opposite directions. As climate extremes threaten modern crops, a plant once cast aside proves impossible to erase. Purslane's survival is not just a botanical feat, it is a challenge to what we value as food. The next superfood is not hidden, it is underfoot, waiting for us to see it differently. What will we choose?